welcome to a very special rebroadcast of the Seattle U game against Utah Valley. This game was played on February 8th of 2020, earlier this year. I'm Dennis Patchen. I'm the radio voice of Seattle University. We are joined by two of the players that played in this game, Mattia DeCampo and Morgan Means, both seniors. And we're also joined by assistant coach Alex Pribble, and we're going to show you this game from start to finish. And we're going to talk about it as we go through it. And this game even went a little bit longer. There's a great story at the end of this that we'll talk about after the game was over, because that might have been the most suspenseful thing. But this was a fantastic game played on the road in Orem at Southern Utah University. Guys, welcome aboard. This should be a lot of fun here today.
Hey, Dennis.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
It was an interesting game. The REDHAWKS came into this game at 11-12, 4-4 in conference play, but just 2 road wins so far on the season. Utah Valley was 9-14, 3-5 in conference play. This was the second meeting between these two, and Morgan and Mattia can talk about it. Just the blowout win that you guys had at home. Talk about that leading into this game and preparing for this one.
You got it, TT.
Yeah, this was the only game of the week because we play Utah Valley every Saturday. They're playing on Thursday. So that let us having 4 or 5 days to prepare, to study them. We knew what they would run during the game, so I felt that we were more than prepared for this game. Yeah,
I'd agree. We know that every time we played against Utah Valley, they're our travel partners, so we did have the whole week to prepare. And I think we just took it, and the blowout win at home, I don't think we had too many games that we played as a more complete unit than that one. So we were trying to go off of that and build from it and do the same thing again.
Good start here. First 5 points. Jordan Dallas hit that three-pointer, and then we got a bucket by Morgan coming in. Alex, from a coaching perspective, when you play a team a second time after you blow them out the first time, is that a little more difficult to prepare a team to get ready?
I think so. When you start a game out like that and have big Jordan Dallas knock down a 3, I think that's a good sign because you feel really comfortable. But in terms of the preparation, like these guys said, Utah Valley is our travel partner. We see them on film constantly from a coaching standpoint. I feel like I watched more film on them than anybody else. So, yeah, we had to prepare. There were some slight differences. The first time we played this game, Caston Jardine, their kind of stretch 4-man wasn't playing. And their offense is really different without him on the court. So I think our guys definitely still had their edge, and they came out sharp. Our guys came out really sharp. Jordan knocking down that 3, Morgan coming out and hitting a little mid-range pull-up right there. It's a good way to start the game.
One of their best players, I think he was their best player, Isaiah White, did not play in this game. And that kind of, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, it seemed like that Utah Valley got off to a little bit of a slow start because they were missing him. But they did figure it out later in the game.
Maybe also we always talk about starting the game strong. And I think that we really did it during this game because we did not do it the previous 4 or 5 games, but we really came out strong in this one.
Yeah, especially on the offensive end. If you look at kind of what we're doing right now, Jordan knocking down that early 3 really stretches the court for us. It spreads the floor out. And so we're setting a lot of those high ball screens and actually getting TT working hard on a mismatch in the post. And so far offensively, that's actually worked out really well for us in this game.
Well, and the other thing is with Jordan playing outside like he is and knocking down shots, that forced Utah Valley into some different things with Emmanuel Olajupoki, who was one of the shot block leaders. He had to guard somebody out at the perimeter, and that takes him out of the middle of trying to block shots on penetration, and that it really seemed to open everything up.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's definitely, I think he was the top shot blocker in the league, so getting him defensively onto the perimeter was a big point of emphasis for us. But really, this team's about their guards. I mean, they had some of the best guards in the conference, and so we needed Morgan and Terrell to win that battle. And so far, they were doing it.
Yeah, it's REDHAWKS get off to that quick 5-0 start. Then we've got buckets coming here, and then Terrell Brown knocks down a 3 and builds a 6-point lead. Morgan and Mattia, you guys both I've started a lot of games. Is there something you're trying to do in the first couple minutes of a game when you're starting to kind of get you into a rhythm for the entire game?
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead, Mo.
Oh yeah, for me, I can only speak for myself, but I think what I try and do is just I think I've tried everything in my tenure as a Red Hawk. In the beginning of the games, I tried to start off really aggressive. I try to let the game come to me, but I think towards my senior year, I really knew what my role was and my job. I tried to get everybody involved and really play well on defense. That's what I really tried to focus on.
Yeah,
When you get, oh, sorry, TT, go ahead.
Yeah. I always try to set the tone. I'm a physical guy, so if I have to spend a foul, I spend it. No problem. I just gotta know, like, gotta tell the other team, I'm here. I'm ready to fight. Yeah, that's it.
You saw just a moment ago Utah Valley taking a timeout the first few minutes of the game. Guys, I'll go with Morgan first here. When a team has to use a timeout because your guys are doing everything right and they're not doing wrong, what's that tell you early in the game when they use that lose it or use it first half timeout in the first 3.5 minutes of the game?
That we just need to keep doing what we're doing. I think that's what we're probably saying in the huddle. No need to change anything if we're making them second think what they're doing. What we're doing is working, so let's keep doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming out of those timeouts, it's more about not losing your edge than anything else. So just focused on that next possession, trying to get a stop, which we did. So that was good.
This was a vocal crowd here. Certainly when Utah Valley was playing better, and this is a game of spurts in this game. But do you guys hear much of what people are saying? Do you hear what Coach Hayford or some of the other coaches are saying? I mean, what do you guys – I know you hear your teammates, but what do you guys – TT, start first. What are you guys listening to?
Oh, we don't really listen. We just hear and we just don't care about it, because if you care about it, you lose focus on the game. Especially when you're on the bench and people talking trash to you, like, okay, Da Campo, you're not playing well, you're not going to make the next shot. And then you just don't care about it, you just keep playing.
Have you ever said anything, Mattia, to somebody in Italian that wasn't very nice?
I've had a couple of people talking to me in Italian. I was like, what? And I talk back in Italian to them, but I never talk back to other people.
Morgan, do you hear people?
I think I hear the people I choose to hear. Like PT said, you can choose not to hear it. You definitely don't have to listen to it. I think when I'm in a game and I'm really locked in, I really don't hear anything. If it's like somebody who's speaking towards me, like who knows me or something, I definitely hear those, like my parents or Coach Hayford or anybody who, like, I know their voice. I hear those, but like the voices I don't really know, I don't think I hear them or pay much attention.
I heard your mom in Orlando. She was pretty excited there.
Yeah, I can always hear my mom, to be honest.
She's a phone.
TT, can you? Your parents have made some games. Can you hear one more than the other?
No, they're really quiet. Especially my mom and my dad. They don't even know about basketball, so I tell them to stay quiet and watch the game.
Alex, what do you guys hear on the bench?
In terms of the crowd noise?
Yeah.
We hear it a little bit. I ever since I was a player, I get pretty locked in on the action on the court. So, it's one of the good things about having seniors like these two guys on the floor. You don't have to worry too much about the crowd rattling them or them getting caught up in the stuff they can't control. So, having an experienced group, all the seniors we got on the court right there, it's definitely helpful when it comes to things like that.
We're starting to. The REDHAWKS are going to make a run here. They're going to build the lead up to 18-9. It's a pretty good run here, guys. When things are going well for you, is there a thing of getting into a rhythm? Is there a thing of that it's going? What you're doing is going to be successful. Is there that feeling? Do you get that when you're on the court?
When I'm playing, when we're playing, you can feel that stuff is going well, and you can feel, oh, this is working, this is not working, and you keep doing what's working. So definitely, yeah.
I agree with that completely. I think it's more of like I wouldn't say it's a personal thing. You could just tell like when the team is in that rhythm, like the ball's moving, everybody's moving, we're talking on defense. Like when you know those things are going on, the good things follow. So it's like, it's not like, oh, we know this play is going to work right here, but it's more like we know what we're doing is right. So the right result will come of it.
Alex, when you make substitutions, and we've got some different players in the game here that didn't start the game, what are you looking at when new guys come in off the bench? Miles, Miles started for a long time, and now he comes off the bench in this game. And there are others that are. What are the coaches looking at from the guys who have just entered the game?
Yeah, well, the first thing we're looking at is matchups, right? So as soon as those substitutions are made, this is actually a unique lineup. We didn't play it very much, where we have both Miles and Jordan on the court at the same time. And we're able to do that because, for one, Jordan shoots the ball so well, he can still stretch the court for us. But defensively, they made a change, and they put their big fella, Brandon Morley, in the game, that 7-footer guarding on the pick and roll right there. And so that allowed us to get matched up and still be able to defend. And then you can see we had a nice advantage in the post with Jordan right there. So I think the first thing that comes to mind is the matchups. And then the second thing is just offensively, what works well based on the personnel we have on the court. So we got into a nice rhythm in this game, really just keeping things simple, spacing the court, and using some ball screens. So I think it's about matchups, and then it becomes about what suits our personnel best.
Let's talk about, we've seen a couple of highlights of when to run and when not to run. And you can address this, Alex, is when you're trying to run and get early offense, defense to offense transition points. What's the key to that? What are you looking for as a coach? And then, Morgan, you can talk about that because the ball's in your hands and you've been doing that. What's the key to that as just trying to know when to attack early?
Yeah. So, for me, from a coaching standpoint, it's more about possession by possession, just finding a way to get a great shot. So, if you talk strategy, the points per possession, the more points you score, it tends to be earlier in the possession. So you tend to find a better shot earlier in the shot clock. So we never want our guys to pass that up. We want to push the ball with pace. We want to play fast. We want to get great shots. But if they play good transition defense and nothing comes early, we want to seamlessly be able to get into our half-court offense. And so we definitely want to play with great tempo and great pace. But as this year went on, our guys did a great job of just playing with flow, not overthinking it, keeping things simple, and making good decisions. And that's kind of what they're doing here early in the game.
Morgan, we've seen you with the ball in your hand and a couple of fast break opportunities. What are you paying attention to?
I would say I'm looking to make sure we have the right spacing. That's probably the biggest thing I'm looking at when I'm pushing the ball. I know that if our spacing is right on a fast break opportunity and we have an advantage, that it's going to be really hard for the defense to stop us. So with that, when I'm pushing the ball and I know where my guys are, it's easy to see like, oh, okay, I have the ball, or, oh, TB's pushing this one. Like, he knows where to find me because we run this spacing. Like, I think that's the biggest thing I look at. And the advantage that we have, maybe it's 3-on-3, 3-on-2, 3-on-1, 2-on-1, I look at those type of things.
Yeah, so like that situation right there. Sorry, Dennis, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that situation, it's not like we're calling a new set from the bench right there. It's the same concept as we're coming off that free throw, but if you recognize they're in a different ball screen coverage with their big fella. And so our guys recognize that they're icing or downing that ball screen. And so our players, our experienced players, they just know how to read and react to that coverage without us having to call a different player, a different set. Our guys just naturally flow into that. And so that's something we ended up doing really well later in this season, really.
11 points given up in 9 minutes. That's got to make you when you play defense like that. That's got to make you smile.
Yeah, especially Coach Vic will be so happy now.
Mm-hmm.
When we're getting stops, it's so good, man. Like we feed off our defense, I think. At least I do. And when we're getting stops, we're really, really good.
You talked about, Morgan, you talked about spacing and knowing where guys were. Is that just from repetition and practice when you get into a game? It's not so much you're looking for people, but you know where people are?
Yeah, I think especially with the type of offense that we played, having great spacing meant so much. Like just right there on that play, for example, like the floor was so wide open for TB because the spacing was perfect, and TT had a perfect steal.
Yeah.
Was that a legal screen, Mattia?
Don't answer that question.
Who knows? They didn't call it, so it wasn't illegal.
Continue, Morgan, with you're talking about that.
Oh yeah, just going back to that spacing thing. Like if everybody's in their right spot, I think we know what we're capable of, and it just comes down to being in that right spot, doing what we rep, like you said, and just trusting each other. I think spacing is a big component of trust.
We just saw Utah Valley hit a three-pointer, and you talked about that early on, Alex, that Jardine hits that three-point shot in there. So let's talk about when teams start shooting 3 points. How does that change your defense when somebody starts knocking down shots? And I know that you've got guys a game or these guys can shoot it from distance, these guys can't. Talk about how you make adjustments in the game at the 3-point line.
Yeah, well, from a coaching standpoint, there's a couple things that go into that. I think the first is that our players need to know that when a guy knocks down a shot, regardless of what it might say in that scouting report or in that box score, when a guy knocks down a 3-point shot, all of a sudden that rim gets really big, right? So guys need to be able to make an adjustment and make a change on the fly. But a guy like that, Jardine is a phenomenal 3-point shooter. And so, it's tough. This is a good offensive team. They have guards that can really penetrate and then some bigs that can stretch the floor. I think it's twofold. That open three that he made came off of breakdown and dribble penetration. So our adjustment there would be talking about stopping the ball earlier and making sure we're keeping the ball out of the paint.
Mattia, you guard guys out at the 3-point line. Is there a trick, or is it just knowing who can hit those and who can't on how you play defense out to the line?
Well, I think it's both. Like you gotta know before the game who can shoot, who cannot, and I think that Coach Vic does a really good job at that scouting. But at the same time, during the game, you have a feeling if a guy just made a shot, you close out, you don't let him shoot, you make him put the ball on the floor. Yeah.
All right, we've seen Utah Valley cut a double-digit lead down to 4 points. What's going through your minds right now, guys, as this game is unfolding, when a team starts to make a run?
In my mind, it's a basketball game. They're a good team. We know what they're capable of. Basketball is a game of runs, so we got to weather the storm and be ready to put a run on them. That's probably what I'm thinking at the time. You don't get too worried about it, especially when they're cutting into your lead and you're winning. You had to do something right to get there. So I think in my mind, I'm just thinking we need to get back to being us and get a couple stops, string them together, and push our lead back.
Yeah, it's more chess than checkers. I think, for us, it's more about what adjustments are going on, why they're hurting us, and trying to make small changes. So if you think about this run they're going on, it's really about us, our inability to guard the basketball one-on-one. So we talked about how well we were playing defensively early on, and then whether it was a change in the rotation or just kind of relaxing, we stopped guarding the ball as well, and that's led to some success for them offensively.
Well, you talked about runs, Morgan. Riley hits a couple of free throws. We got a 3-pointer coming up from Aaron Nettles. So, no need to panic here. You just you figure it out. Okay, they made a run. It's time for us to string some points together.
Yeah, it comes down to like what Coach Preble said. It's us locking back in and making the adjustments that we need to make, and we know it's basketball. Like I said, they're a really good team. We knew that it's not going to be easy, so we just got to keep playing.
Well, and there are no easy games on the road, are there?
I don't think so. I don't think there's an easy game in general in conference.
Yep.
Do you guys have a favorite place you like to play on the road in this conference? I mean, because you guys have played for 4 years. Was there a favorite stop?
I love playing GCU, to be honest. The fans are crazy, and it's just fun because everybody's is you and your team against everybody else.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like GCU. I like New Mexico State. I like Bakersfield a lot. I think Bakersfield might have been my favorite just because it was the closest one to home until Cal Baptist. But I got to see my whole family and pull out a win there the last 2 years. Yeah,
Nope.
No, just last year.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Does it make a difference that the because you talked about places you guys like to play, and those are some of the places that are the most full. So when a place is full, it sounds like that's a much better atmosphere.
Yeah, I don't think there's a basketball player on earth that enjoys playing in an empty gym, whether it be for them or against them. It's fun being able to display your talents for others. I think that's a big reason why people do it. You're out here showcasing what you could do, whether it be for people rooting for you or rooting against you. I think it's always fun.
You may have seen Mattia celebrating there a little bit. He hit 2 free throws. Sorry, apologize for that, Mattia. Not talking about you at the line. You had a pretty good. You had a pretty good day at the line. 3 of 4 in this game. Dennis Patchen here, the radio voice from Seattle U, joined by assistant coach Alex Pribble and a couple of seniors, Mattia DeCampo and Morgan Means. Guys, as we watch this game, you guys have built this back to a double-digit lead at 11 points. I want to ask you guys a little bit about how the season ended. You didn't get to play senior night. Those 2 games were canceled in Seattle. And then you didn't get an opportunity to play in the tournament in Las Vegas. How are you guys handling the way the season ended and, unfortunately for both of you, the way your careers ended?
Yeah, for me, I was hurt for quite some time. It's been about, what has it been, like 2 months, a month?
Yeah.
But I think this was bigger than basketball. You got to understand that. So when it comes down to something so serious, and at the end of the day, we're blessed to be able to play this game. So if we have to miss the end of the year, 3 games to make sure everybody stays healthy, and I think it's worth it. Looking back at it, it sucks, but life goes on. I think TT and I are blessed and fortunate enough to continue to play basketball. So.
Yeah, I feel that we're lucky to be sad about not playing basketball, just like the game of basketball, while so many other people are losing people they love and are in terrible conditions. So I'm not really that mad, to be honest.
Yeah, and Mattia, I mean, you're from Italy, and that's been a country that's been hard hit. Is everybody okay in your family?
Yeah, everybody's fine. Thankfully, I'm glad. But actually, they went back to work today since February 9th, something like that. So today was a good day at home.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. Alex, what can a coach do in those circumstances? What can Jim do? What you as assistants can do to help your guys get through this? Or is there anything you can do?
Yeah, well, I'll say this, both Morgan and TT are such good guys. They're talking about the greater perspective and how it's affected people beyond them and what they have to be grateful for. But my heart hurts for them and for the seniors on our team. I mean, they worked so hard all year, and that was a tough way to end it. I mean, I think all of us, every part of the program, we all felt like we were playing good basketball and like we were ready to do something special out there in Vegas. And so, not having a senior night, not having, a finale to the season, I think is really tough. When it all happened and we all met in Coach Hayford's hotel room in Vegas and talked about, what was going on, I think everybody just felt sad. They felt like they had a little hole in their heart and in their stomach, just like it was unfinished. And there's not much you can do. I think all you can do is talk about, like these guys said, the bigger picture. Making sure everybody's safe, making sure everybody's healthy, taking care of those things first and foremost. That's kind of how it went down for us.
Yeah,
it was amazing because I was at the practice at the high school the day before the first game, how upbeat everybody was, the opportunity to get to the NCAA tournament and feeling good about your team. And then, less than 24 hours after that practice, it's the rug got pulled out. And I'm a broadcaster, and I was disappointed. But I can't imagine having your college basketball career come to a close without the opportunity of being able to defend, what you guys had done all season. And for both of you guys to say what you said, man, I'm not sure I would have been that mature at the age of 22 or 23 if that. And there's Jim not happy with a call. That never happens, right?
I never seen him displeased before.
Has he ever said anything seriously that you had to kind of be careful because you were about to laugh?
Seriously, that I thought
that he thought was serious, not necessarily individually, but in a group setting, at a practice, anything where you had to kind of just put your head to the side, or
sometimes it happens.
If you want to lie and say. If you want to lie and say no, not to get in trouble, that's got to be fine. So,
yeah, I can't think. I know for sure it's happened, but I can't think of a specific situation.
Both you guys, had a coaching change in your career.
Yep.
How did you handle that?
Personally, after my freshman year, when Coach Hafer came into the program, I kind of just allowed myself to accept what happened. The dude that brought us in had been gone. We loved. I know I can speak for Chichi as well. We both love Coach Dollar and what he did for us. But we know the game of basketball and the business, and we just accepted Coach Hafer as a new coach and somebody who truly cared for us and loved us. Like, he did a great job coming in, so we both trusted him and worked hard and tried to build a repertoire up with him.
Alex, you've been a head coach before. You've come into programs new. You've come into programs where the head coach has already been there. How do you deal with new guys?
You got me all fired up there, Dennis. That was a big play from Rip Economou, hitting the glass, coming in, making a play. Love to see that, man. Running a program, there's so many different facets that come into it. And I think Coach Hafer, you can ask these guys, but I've never been around a coach that cares more about the whole person and their academics. And, he's not looking at these guys like basketball players. He's looking at them as people that he cares about. And so my guess, that first year, he probably started with building a relationship. For me, when I was a head coach, that's really what the first couple months were all about, getting to know the guys that you're going to go on this journey with. And so, again, one of the reasons why it was so tough the way this ended is because the relationships are so strong. And so our guys in the program, they care about each other like brothers. They love each other. And that starts with the culture that Coach Hafer's built. It's a really strong culture. These guys really, really care about each other. And so, there's a lot of ups and downs throughout the journey, and it was a tough way for that to end. But that's what the program starts with. Building a program starts with a foundation of trust and love for one another. And that's what Coach Hafer's built here.
We just saw Mattia with a nice drive. Left-hander Mattia. Guys have played against you for a while, but it seems like they forget when you're out on the court that you're a left-hander.
Yeah, they forgot I'm lefty. I don't know how. Let me go.
Yeah, it wasn't until probably this year TT was able to dribble with his right hand. So
yeah,
I don't know why.
I get better.
We got a free throw here. We're going to talk about the game a little bit here because Mattia made a nice play there, and then we got a steal coming up here by Morgan. So Morgan, we'll kind of let you just kind of tell us what's happening here after, unfortunately, Mattia misses the second of two free throws.
Okay. I think in this Utah Valley game, like Coach Purple said earlier, we knew that their guards were our big piece of their team, really got their team going. So just making sure that we made it hard for them. And I wanted to be a pest in the passing lanes, be a pest on the ball, and really make it hard for these dudes to get going. So
on that
I think
play
that
in
was what's
particular,
going
though,
through my head.
if you looked at Mo at the free throw line, he was going like this. He was pulling on his shirt a bunch. And we actually had the play call on that one. They called that play shirt. It's a cross screen down low. And if you saw, we did a really good job beating that cross screen, and then Mo was able to get a deflection and make a play. So a lot of times in situations like that, if we can pick up on a play call, smart guys like we have on the court, they can make an adjustment, make a play.
Is that picking up on a play call because you heard the call, or is that picking up on it because you felt the action and you'd seen that before?
So we usually know the action, but we don't know the name, like how they call the action. So after a couple of plays during the game, we tell the coaches, oh, this action is called shirt, this action is called elbow. So we recognize that, and from then we know when they call that name, what they're going to run.
All right. We're in the final 3 minutes of this game, so there's no more media timeouts. So as players, Mattia, you start first. What are you thinking in the final few minutes of a half? What goes through your mind here as we go into the last couple of minutes?
Just finished strong. You started getting a little tired after 18 minutes. I don't think me and Mo came off this game. So finish strong. You got 15 minutes to rest after these 2 minutes. So give all you got, make some adjustment at halftime, then come back.
Yeah, Mattia played 33 minutes in this game. Morgan went 41, and that's because it was an overtime game. So when you guys know you're going to play that long in the game, is there a different mindset that you have when you go into a game knowing you're going to play 35, maybe 40 minutes?
I don't think so. Not for me particularly. I think one of my strong suits is my conditioning, and I think I'm able to give all I got for as much as I'm out there. So yeah, I don't think there's much of a mindset switch for me.
Yeah, same for me. I always play 120%, and I really don't care if I'm going to play 45 minutes or 2. I just play the same every time.
You guys were in that game earlier this year at University of Missouri, Kansas City. That was a 3 overtime game. What was it like to play in?
That's crazy.
Oh yeah, that one. I don't think I came out that game. I think I played all. I might have played.
I remember looking at the box score and damn, Mo, you played 50 minutes? No, 55 minutes.
Yeah,
I think he played 50. It was 53 minutes in that game. I think. He came out.
That was crazy. I ain't never been in a game like that before either. Where it was just that was another great game with just constant responses. We came out short, but I remember they played their hearts out. We did too, but there was just shots being made to respond to another shot being made. Oh, another overtime. It was fun. It was a fun game.
Nobody expects to play 55 minutes in a college basketball game. That just can't happen.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't expecting that.
Well, the crazy thing is you guys wound up playing another game a day and a half later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was in the morning too. We didn't even get the full rest.
No, it was it was a 1 o'clock start in Chicago, which is body clock time was 11 o'clock for you guys. So yeah, it's pretty bad. Delonte Jones hit a big 3-point shot, and then just a moments ago, and then TT with that. Mattia, where did you learn to shoot the 3 with such a high arc?
I don't know.
Was there like a tree in your backyard that you had to shoot over when you were a kid or something?
I don't know, but I wasn't really a good shooter my freshman and sophomore year, and especially Coach Schaefer made me work so much on my shot. But it's going in though, like.
It sure was.
If it works.
Yeah, that's a tough way to end the half right there.
Yeah, so a 4-point lead here at the half, and here's what we're getting ready to start the second half. So, guys, and kind of walk us through what goes on at halftime from a player's perspective and what goes on from a coaching perspective. Alex, go first with that.
Yeah, well, as coaches, we have a process that we go through at every halftime. We have basically what looks like a checklist, and for me, it's the offensive side of the ball. For Coach Vic, it's the defensive side of the ball. There's some rebounding things in there with Coach Kirby as well. But we have a checklist. What's working well? What's not working well? What adjustments do we need to make? What adjustments do we anticipate them making? And so we go through that. We speak as a coaching staff briefly and kind of come to some conclusions, and then get in there and relay that stuff to the players. A game like this, we were having some success offensively, so it was really about buckling down defensively and making sure we were getting stops.
Guys, what are you trying to do at halftime?
I think there's a little split second before the coaches come in and they tell us what adjustments they're going to make, that we all sit there and we all reflect as players on what just happened, and we talk, and usually it's led by dudes like Mattia or myself, where dudes who are experienced and they know what's going on and what we need to do to change. So we just talk for about a minute or two, and we pick it up. We're trying to get under each other, then get into each other and make sure that we're all playing our best and giving each other all we have, basically.
Mattia?
Yeah, like Mo said, and then we make some adjustment. Like Coach Rick talks about defense, Coach Alex about offense, and then we say, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and then we go back and we try to do it.
This is a game that we saw a lot of free throws in. When you get a lot of free throws, there was 62 free throws. You guys shot 35. When there's a game with a lot of free throws, is that tough to keep the rhythm of a game?
I think if it's going in your favor, not so much. If the fouls are going against you, yeah, it may make you change the style of defense you wanted to play. You might not be able to be as aggressive or do the things that you thought you were going to be able to do if the refs are calling the game a little tighter than you might hope or thought they would. So it definitely changes a couple of things, I think.
I personally use the free throws to catch my breath, take a moment, reset, and then be ready to go. I actually like them.
This is a crazy game at the free throw line for Utah Valley. They had a 58% free throw shooter hit 5. They had a 35% free throw shooter hit 6. So those two guys were 11 of 11. But they also had a guy shooting almost 80%, go 2 for 4. This was a weird game because guys were hitting free throws that shouldn't have been, and guys who should have been hitting free throws weren't. Do you guys look at that? Or do you know if guys are good free throw shooters?
That's the kind of stuff
definitely.
Sorry, go ahead, Mo.
Oh no, that's all. We definitely know who can shoot free throws, who we want to foul, and we don't want dudes getting up wide open layups. I think that's the reason that those dudes shot so many free throws, because they knew they were poor free throw shooters. And this game, they just happened to hit them.
Yeah,
I was going to say that's the kind of stuff that, in a funny way, just infuriates our coaching staff on the bench. When that 35% free throw shooter just knocked down 2 free throws, I guarantee you, Coach Vic was hitting me on the leg, and saying, "What's going on?" Things like that. So it's the kind of thing that we hope balances out in the end. But this one, I know, was a little infuriating for us coaches when all those were going down.
And here's the thing is, we shot 20 free throws in the first 20 minutes of this game between the two teams. In the second half, combined with a little bit of overtime, it was 4 free throws. I mean, that's how do you play in a game when the officiating is called differently, or is it maybe it wasn't called differently? Maybe the game was played differently.
Yeah, nobody's perfect. That's all I'd say. Refs mess up too. So like sometimes they'll catch their rhythm just like any player would, or the beginning might be a little shaky for them. They're nervous out there. I don't know what's going through a ref's head, but I feel like towards the second half you usually see more realistic calls, better calls. The first half, beginning of the game, sometimes you got to be wary of that as a player. At least I know I try not to pick up any cheap ones. I try not to even get in a situation where I can get a foul early in the game, because sometimes they just call horrible calls, and you're just like, dang, like I didn't even touch him. But like towards the end of the game, you usually don't see too many of those. Not for me, at least.
Yeah, I had a couple of games where I had 3 or even 4 fouls at halftime. That's how I play, I guess. But yeah.
Well, if you got 3 or 4 fouls and you're still playing, you're a good player. I mean, the guys that get 2 fouls or 3 fouls that sit down, that means coaches can't trust guys. That's an interesting thing, Alex. You know, the unwritten rule in college basketball is 2 fouls. You take a guy out, you sit him down unless you bring him in for like an offensive play at the end of the half. What is your philosophy? What's the philosophy of Jim on guys with 2 fouls?
It's a good question, and actually it's interesting. I was just looking at this recently. There's actually a stat kept for the basketball nerds like me. The website's called kenpalm.com, but Ken Palmer is an analytics, a statistician, and he keeps a stat on his website that's called 2 foul participation, and it actually tracks all the coaches, and when they're in that situation, when players have 2 fouls in the first half, which coaches trust their players to keep playing and which coaches pull their players. And Coach Hafer is actually top 10 in the country in coaches that keep their players on the floor with 2 fouls. And so that may speak to the fact that we had a veteran group, and you know, when you have seniors, you trust them to make better decisions. But our philosophy, truthfully, is usually to ride it out and let guys continue to play. Worst case scenario, they get 3 fouls, and you know, you can make an adjustment at that point in time. But yeah, we tend to let guys play.
It's a bad stretch of the game. You guys gave up a couple of breakaway layups. Your lead is gone. What's going through your minds right now is all of a sudden Utah Valley's up by 5.
Yeah, I think we just saw it right there. What happens when you relax, and I think that's what happened right there. We relaxed, and that's why the timeout was probably called or whatever happened, and we had to talk to each other, make that adjustment, and get back. We really didn't want them beating us in fast breaks. I know that for sure. So try to nip that in the bud right then and there.
Mattia?
Yeah, I can speak for myself. I just keep playing. We know that's going to happen. We expect that because basketball, like Mo said, is the game of rounds. And we just keep playing and then keep fighting.
Yeah. Alex, when you give up a lead like that, and it's a couple of cheap baskets, a couple of easy baskets, and you guys ran 2 great plays. Terrell hit a free throw, and then Miles is going to get a dunk here. Are there plays you're calling that you know specifically are going to work to kind of get your guys back into the game?
In this scenario, there weren't. We continued to go with what had been working earlier in the game, which was, you know, put in our guards like Terrell and Mo in ball screens with great spacing, just like that, you know, and we can recognize the ball screen coverage and make the right reads. But there absolutely are moments where, you know, we give our guys a lot of freedom, and there's moments when you need to kind of pull back on that and make sure the ball is getting in the right person's hands in the right place on the court. So in this game, we were at the point in the season where we trusted our guys to make the right decisions, but there's definitely moments when we got to kind of pull back a little bit and be more detailed with that.
You just saw one of the first media timeouts of the half. Guys, as a player, do you like the timeout every 4 minutes?
At times. I like it when I'm tired. That's probably about it.
But yeah, because you know it's coming, and you can do your stuff, but at the same time, you didn't like it because if you're playing well,
yeah, exactly.
You have to sit down. So.
Yeah, sometimes it sucks. Like when, say, you just hit a big shot or got a big stop, and you're just killing them, right? And then they call it like the media timeout comes in. The whole thing just feels totally different when you come back out.
That was the most Aaron Nettles foul of all time, by the way. It's a Euro foul. He's intentionally fouling him in transition, but when he gets hit, he flew 10 feet out of bounds.
Have you picked that up in practice? Does he do that in practice too?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, something we work on. Try the early foul, you know, to stop a transition layup is important. But I just love the way he sold it.
But then there's a different way that Aaron does it.
Yeah. Guys, you just gave up a layup off an inbounds play. That's got to drive everybody crazy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's nothing worse than that.
Yeah, those two plays back-to-back are huge points of emphasis for us. That's why we call it timeout. But giving up the layup on the inbounds play is no excuse for that. And then a turnover, high at the top of the key that's going to lead to a breakout layup. Those are just things that can't happen.
I think that coach picked on TV for like 2 or 3 weeks on that inbound.
Yeah, that's like something that like one of the biggest rules. Like, don't ever give up a layup on an inbound play. Not that way.
Well, and the other thing is you guys are one of the best in the nation of not turning the ball over. And this was a game where there was a couple of stretches where there was back-to-back possessions where you turned it over, which is really unusual. I mean, you talk about what you guys did well in this game. You had 15 turnovers. That's like for the average team 30. You guys just didn't turn it over double figures all year long.
Yeah, that's my fault.
Yeah, come on, TT.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Well, I got the box score right here. I just looked at it. I'm not. Yeah,
let's skip this.
Yeah, we'll just move right along. Morgan didn't have a turnover this game, and he played 41 minutes. Hats off to you, Morgan.
Thank you.
Alex,
yeah, I think one of our, with the emphasis being take great shots and don't turn the ball over. That's back to like we had stretches in this game. Well, all great teams or all teams in general need to work at every single game is not relax. Don't take your foot off the gas. Keep being you the whole 40 minutes, and that's hard. I know it is. So I think those stretches right there go to show that we might have taken our foot off the gas a little bit, relax a little bit, and weren't ourselves.
We got a stretch coming up here when Morgan gets 4 straight points, a couple of free throws, and then a basket. That was a foul that got you to the free throw line. Morgan, you were one of the best free throw shooters in the league. Coming into this game, you were 90% on the season, 92% in conference play.
Yeah.
Talk about free throw shooting, if you will. Why are you so good at
that? I really couldn't tell you why I'm so good at it. I would say repetition, something I work on constantly. But I think Coach Prillo and I talked about this a lot when I had my struggles at the 3-point line shooting the ball this year, but when I could get there, I knew that's just as good as making a wide open layup for me most of the time. So I tried to live there. I tried to get there as much as I could and be aggressive. And when I got there, I just do what I did all the time. Just do the same routine and put 2 shots in.
Yeah, there's not a lot of – you just pretty much grab the ball and one dribble and whack, you shoot it.
Yeah, I take my 2 breaths and I shoot it.
Mattia, you became a very good free throw shooter this year. What changed for you?
Well, I've been making 100 free throws a day for the last 4 years. So I think that's why. Like every day, going to the gym, get my shots out, get my free throws out, and that showed up this season because I always been like a 66, 65% my first 3 years. But last year I think I shot like 77, something like that.
Yeah, it was coming into this game in the league. There was a stretch in the league where you were almost at 90%. So I mean,
hey,
yeah, it was 84% coming into this game, and he got close. He got close here. We got 12 and a half minutes to go in this game. It's been a seesaw back and forth. They actually put a 6-point lead on you. You guys are going to tie it here. We talked about Morgan's going to come up with a play here, and it's coming up right here. Well, actually, it'll be in the next possession, Morgan. So let's walk us through once you guys get the ball back after this miss. Tell us what you're doing.
We probably we went to a double screen, different action, got the switch, and just being aggressive, try not to be denied, get to my spot.
Yeah, your eyes light up when you get that guy on you? The wrong guy?
Seems like it. Yeah. Got you. You got to take advantage of what the offense creates. Wasn't a better shot than that.
Hey, Alex, can you walk us through it? Why a double screen?
Yeah, well, a couple things on that. It was definitely part of the preparation where we felt like both Morgan and Terrell really had a foot speed advantage going at these guys. So we gave them some action, some ball screen early on, and then whether they switched it or not, that defender's in a recovery. They're recovering back to the ball. And so we felt like when Morgan and Terrell had space to operate, they could really get downhill. And it's to their credit, they didn't settle for bad shots. They got all the way to the rim, got to the foul line a lot. And just like that, didn't settle, got all the way right to the rim, created a lot of good stuff for us. So, it's more, like Morgan said, it's more about spacing than overly complicated actions. But I know we felt like we had an advantage going off the bounce in this game.
Guys, when we get into a game that's tied with 11 minutes to go, you're probably feeling this is going to go right down to the end of the game. Are you counting possessions, or is it way too early to start doing that?
No, it's way too early. I mean, it's a very long game. So you definitely don't do that. You just keep playing.
Yeah, I don't think I ever really count possessions. I know, like, every possession matters, but I don't think I'm the one to, we missed this shot, so that's going to come back and bite us. Because I always feel like you can make up for it, you get a stop, you do something else. Like this, there's no one possession, I think, that wins or loses you the game. There definitely are big possessions in the game, but I think it's just a total of being yourself the whole game and doing what you could do the whole game.
We just saw Riley go hard to the basket, which he does a lot. I would not want to stand in there when he's coming at you.
Oh, me neither.
Oh, yeah. I think I've taken one charge on him in practice, and I don't think I ever did again.
He's a big boy. I call him
big.
And he's quick, and he's not afraid of contact, and we've seen him do that a lot. I think there's another one he goes to the basket hard here in this game. So that's Alex. What's a coach thinking when we get into the 10-minute mark here in a close game?
Yeah. Well, like these guys said, it's not that one possession is necessarily more important than another possession, but there's definitely a rhythm to the game. And if you feel like offensively your opponent's getting into a good rhythm, that next possession becomes what feels like even more important. And so we got away with one. We went to a press off that free throw to try to take away their rhythm a little bit. It forced them to take a quick shot from a player that doesn't shoot the ball very much, and he missed it. And, maybe that bought us a possession or two. We got into our press, this little three-quarter court press here for a couple possessions, and that definitely changed some things. So as you get closer to the end, it's not that one possession is more important than the next, but you're definitely looking at strategy and finding ways to control the rhythm of the game.
Alex, we see the head coach talking to players. We see players talking to each other on the court. What are the assistant coaches saying to one another?
We're right there. We were kind of mad at the refs if you were looking at us there, but usually there's a lot of communication going on between us. I think you see the 5-6 of us sitting there on the bench, and there's we kind of run things by each other. Should we do this? Should we do that? And if we feel good about an adjustment, then we'll take it to Coach Hayford. But there's a lot of communication. I think I would hope that a strength of our team is the fact that our coaches get along well and communicate well. And so we talk a lot on the bench. We trust each other. And that leads hopefully to the right adjustments down the stretch.
Is one of you guys in charge of offense, one of you in charge of defense? How does that work? Or is it whoever has the scout has more of Coach Hayford's ear than the other guys?
Yeah, it's more that I'm looking at the offensive side of the ball and Coach Victor's looking at the defensive side of the ball, with Coach Kirby really looking at rebounding and possessions. That's kind of how we break things up, but there's no concern about stepping on each other's toes or any of those things. We really, like I said, trust each other as coaches just the way we would hope the players trust each other and trust us. So if I see something defensively, I wouldn't hesitate to talk to Coach Vic about it. And if he sees something offensively, he doesn't hesitate to tell me. So there's constant communication between the coaches. And, really we would hope that the players would, and they did at times, would come up and tell us what they're seeing on the court. That would lead to adjustments as well. So a lot of communication.
Morgan, do you like that when a coach wants your input in a situation?
Yeah, I think I struggled with it early in my college career, knowing when to talk and how to talk. But there goes Aaron Nettles.
Yeah,
he draws the most fouls I've ever seen. But going back to, I don't know, Chi. You are up there though. You are up there.
I'm not sure that was an offensive foul. I think Aaron got one there. I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah. We won them all. But yeah, going back to that, just the input, it makes you feel respected as a player. All your hard work you're not just looked at as somebody who's just out there, you know what I mean? When they really want you to talk to them and give your input. I know for me, it makes me feel good that they respect me and my basketball opinion enough to listen to what I'm saying, or that kind of thing. It goes a long way for sure.
Yeah.
Mattia, how do you feel about that? Because you're a guy I notice a guy who talks to his teammates and talks to his coaches a lot. Is that just part of your game?
Yeah, and then as a player, you feel stuff that maybe the coach doesn't, and then if you tell him, he can make adjustment of that. And I really like when Coach Hayford, Coach Vic, and Coach Alex ask me, okay, what do you see? What do you think? How will you do this? And then they make a decision based off that.
Yeah, we're in a stretch here where Brandon Morley is going to make 4 free throws on back-to-back possessions, and he came into this game at 35%. And that's one of the guys that I was talking about. And I'm sure that Alex, you mentioned it earlier, it's just a difficult situation when a guy who you expect to miss 2 out of 3 makes 4 in a row.
Yeah, it doesn't always play out by the numbers, even though you hope it does as a coach. It's just part of the game. So we had an offensive foul at the free throw line and gave him a couple free points there. So hopefully, we just try to make the adjustments later in the game so we're not fouling as much.
Assistant coach Alex Pribble and seniors Mattia DeCampo and Morgan Means joining us here as we're breaking down the Utah Valley game that was played on the road back on February 8th, 2020 in Orem, Utah. And we've got some fireworks coming up here later on in a game. Guys, does fatigue ever hit you in a game?
Yeah, I'd say more mental than physical. Like sometimes you might be like, dang, I played this whole game, so I deserve to take a break here, take a break there. That's what when you're mentally weak, your mindset might drip to that. I know it's happened to me my fair share of times, but I like I said, I truly believe that I can play a game that's 60 minutes long and do so to the best of my ability. But definitely you got to be realistic. Fatigue is, if you're out there playing hard or against a team that's really getting under you and picking you up full court and making you work, you're going to be tired. You feel the ramifications of that during the game sometimes, or especially after a game.
Mm-hmm.
For me.
Yeah, especially at the end of the game, you know that you will get tired. That it happens to everybody. But at that point, you don't really care. You just keep playing. And you got to be smart. You use the free throws to take a breath. You use the timeout. You sit down. You reset. And as seniors, I think we know, okay, this media timeout is coming. We got 45 seconds to take a breath. So we know when and what to do.
How do you guys handle the physicality of a game and how that affects you?
I would say early on I couldn't handle it. It was one of the things that just I couldn't deal with really that well. But as you get old, as I got older, you learn trips and tips. I'm not the strongest guy, so I have to use my body. I have to use my speed. I have to do other things to offset people's strength. But yeah, you grow older and you learn things, and I think for sure I learned things, but it doesn't look like TT really had to worry about the physicality thing. You see right there, it's just bully buckets and big boys.
Look at the big butt. Ooh.
Yeah, that's a big fella too.
Yeah, but you know what? You work hard, sometimes you get a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reward the good guys, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Because we all know Mattia's got his fair share of bad calls.
Yeah, of course.
One is coming up, actually. I remember that. My fifth foul, my last one.
That loose ball.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I think Coach Hayford about lost his mind in that point. I do remember that one from this game. That Alex, when you know and it happens and a player knows, is there anything a coach can say? You know, when a player picks up a foul that really shouldn't have been a foul.
You mean say to the officials?
No. Say to the player to try and, especially if it's not the fifth foul, to get him focused back in a game.
Yeah, I was going to say with the officials, you know, Coach Hayford knows all those guys so well now that there's not too much we can say anymore. But with the players, you know, I think it's just about keeping their mind set on the right things, try to control the controllables. That's kind of what we preach is, you know, next possession, think about what you're going to do the next time you step on the court or, you know, the next play. That's really all you can do. If there's a teaching technique that you can address, you know, keeping your hands high, sliding your feet, whatever it might be, then you can definitely, obviously, always coach. But beyond that, it's really just controlling the next possession.
We just saw a pick and roll there, the oldest play in basketball. It's amazing it still works. Alex, why does it still work?
More than ever. The rate of pick and rolls in the game of college basketball is just out of control. It happens almost nearly every play down the court that you're seeing pick and rolls, just like right now. And your ability to offensively execute a good pick and roll to create an advantage or defensively defend pick and rolls is a huge part of your success right now. For us, you know, you always want to try to create advantages. You want to try to force two guys to guard one. And so when you got a big body like Miles out there sitting a good screen, you can engage two defenders, and then, you know, you just got to trust the ball handler to make good decisions. And so that last play with Miles getting a layup, you know, just did a great job making a read and making a great pass for Miles. So it was good stuff.
Morgan, you remember the first time you ever ran a pick and roll? Were you like 6, 7?
I do not remember the first time I ran a pick and roll. I think growing up, being a guard, I was probably calling for a screen super early, like before dudes were even setting legal screens. Just, come set me one. I could try and shoot or something. I don't know.
TT?
Nah, I don't remember. Just one. I remember trying to be like Kobe, like LeBron, calling the guy.
Yeah.
We were like 6 or 7, but.
Okay, there you go, TT.
Big play.
Was that your first
TT.
one?
Oh, see, we missed that.
Yeah. Was that your first one you drew this game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you know what? You talk about big offensive possessions. That was a big defensive possession right there.
Huge.
I mean, in a one possession game, as we close into the 6-minute mark, you get a possession where they don't get a shot. That's sensational.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
those
are
are the
huge.
best kind of defensive
Yeah,
plays.
you got to control those, get those stops.
You just saw that play from Terrell. The spacing on that, Alex, was sensational. I mean, you just can't guard all the spots on the floor when you space it that long.
Yeah, you talk about the ball screens. We do a lot of what we call ghost screens, which is actually not technically setting the screen, but just getting into the position where you're going to set a screen to force the defender to help and then slipping the screen. And on that possession where Terrell got all the way to the basket, that's what happened. We slipped the screen and Terrell was able to get downhill and attack the rim. He's just such a physical guard. You know, when he gets right around the rim, good things happen.
Guys, in this game, there's a miss there, but free throws really got you back into this game. And you guys in this game, you shot 8 more free throws. You hit 6 more free throws, and when you win a game by 2 points in overtime, that's a big number.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember Miles hitting a couple of really big free throws in a couple of minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think honestly, this team right here probably spent the least amount of time I've ever been on a team shooting free throws in practice. I can't remember but a handful of times where we actually took practice time to shoot free throws, and I think that just goes to show how dedicated each player was to get in the gym on their own and making sure that we were ready to shoot them when the game came around. Because we shot them well for the majority of the season.
And if you look comparing guys, guys who played a lot a year ago and guys who played a lot this year, the good free throw shooters stayed good, like you, Morgan, maybe got a couple percentage points higher. But the free throw shooters who struggled a little bit, 10% increase. And anytime you can increase your free throws by 10%, that's a good, that hats off to you guys.
Yep.
Yeah, it just goes back to dudes wanting to get better. The only way to do that is getting in the gym and getting better.
Damn.
Yeah, that's an open three from a three-point shooter. That's not good.
That was my fault too.
Yeah, it's bad balls.
What happened there, TT?
And that one, I didn't tell Adam to switch. I told him yellow, which is a glove coverage. And so he didn't go to my man. That was my fault.
Yeah, these are possessions that you just can't have at the end of the game,
yeah,
where you're giving away free points. This team's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's
a rare turnover for you guys, and now it's a 4-point lead center and a guy to a free throw line. Now, this is one of their guys that's actually a good free throw shooter. He shoots 78% on the season. He's going to miss one of these two, and then you guys kind of got rolling here, and we'll get into it here as we get closer. And again, timeout here. All right, 4 minutes to go, 4-point game. Alex, what's the discussion in a timeout here?
Yeah, so it's possession by possession. The big focus is the next trip down the court. We need a bucket. And so, obviously we're designing something to try to get a good look from the right player, the right matchup. And you're talking to the guys right now about limiting our mistakes. I think these past couple possessions, we've had controllable breakdowns. We've had a miscommunication like TT was talking about defensively that cost us 3 points, and then a bad turnover that cost us, these free throws here. So, the majority of this game, when we were making the right decisions, good things have happened. But we've had a couple mental breakdowns that have cost us dearly. So I'm sure the communication is offensively, making sure we're executing something, and having success offensively, but then cutting down on the mental mistakes.
TT, is there too much information a coach can give you in a timeout?
Not really. We don't have a lot of time. He knows what to talk about. He only tells us a couple of things. Just boom, boom, 2 things to adjust, and then we go back to play.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Morgan?
I think there is too many things that a coach can tell you, but I think our coaches do a really good job of not doing that and telling us the important things. Because I remember in high school or AAU, you have that coach who's trying to draw up a whole new offense in a timeout while you only need one thing to work on, and ends up messing up even more, and you got to call another timeout, and you got to fix what he just fixed. Or there's definitely that kind of stuff, but I don't think our coaching staff ever had that problem. So,
all right, Alex, you're in a close game here. It's a 4-point game with 4 minutes to play. You've rested your guys. You've made your substitutions. Are you to a point now where you're pretty much the guys that are on the court are the guys that are going to stay there as long as they don't foul out?
Not necessarily. I think we really trusted our rotation and the guys a little bit deeper on our bench, if their number was called based on, like you said, foul trouble or just the right matchups. I think they'd be ready to go. But this is definitely the time when the hair starts to stand up on the back of your head a little bit on your skin, and you just get ready to really dig in, get stops defensively, and get great shots offensively. So, as a staff, as a coaching staff, this is the time when we're really triple checking all of the timeout numbers and the foul numbers and those kinds of things to make sure that no mistakes are made on our end. But now you trust your guys to make good decisions.
Who keeps track of that for you on your bench?
We've got a couple different guys handling it. Mike Odlin does a great job with a lot of our operations work, but during the game, he also keeps some stats, and Sam Kirby does a good job tracking a lot of those things as well. So we've got multiple guys kind of double checking each other to make sure we're on top of it all.
Well, and every timeout, every media timeout, the stat sheets are handed to you guys, so it's a quick double check there.
Exactly.
I notice you guys don't spend a whole lot of time looking at it, so it's just one quick look and then back to the huddle you go. Yeah, I think this is a big possession in this game here where Riley gets a bucket here to kind of get you guys back on track.
Yep.
Yeah, you see how that ball's moving right there. That's our offense personified right there. That's a really good possession.
And then if you notice the quick timeout right there, there's a couple of reasons why, but Coach Aford really likes to set our defense. And so, you get a bucket, you cut it from a 2-possession game to a 1-possession game, and that quick timeout, allows Coach Victor to talk to our guys about what we're expecting, them to run. And one stop right here gets you right back in the game. So quick timeout and get reset.
Coach Hayford does do that a lot in calling timeouts after made baskets.
Leads to a steal and a run out. Great timeout.
I hate those kind of foul calls. They know a bucket's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's almost like you should be an intentional foul at that point in time, right?
Smart foul. Yeah, we work on those to prevent an easy bucket. Like, he made a good play, heads up play. I think I missed one right here.
It actually, yeah, you did. You're going to miss the second one here. In fact, I got my stat. It's the only free throw you missed on the game.
Yeah, unexcusable. Unexcusable.
Yeah, stop.
Yeah, this is when you're
Yeah, stop.
You're digging in his team. That's a crazy bucket right there. He shot that with his head under the basket.
Yeah. That is Emmanuel Olajupoki, who's not much of an offensive threat, 5.5 points in the season. But, yeah, look at that. I wonder if he had his eyes open when he shot that. He had 13 points in this game.
Yeah, he played well. He's a great player.
Yeah.
And he hit his free throw.
Yeah, 58% free throw shooter. All right, so now we got a 5-point game with 3:13 to go. Morgan, again, get the ball in your hands. What are you looking for here?
All right, here it's a tech. The dude, you could see him. He just ran in on the court without being subbed in.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we love that.
That's right.
Thank you.
I remember this play. And I just missed my free throw, so I had to make them. I think I don't think there was ever a time this year that I actually had been told to shoot the free throws for a tech. I honestly would just like walk up there and
just
look at Coach Hayford, and he wouldn't even be looking at me because I think he kind of just expected me to be there. So I was just like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna shoot him. So I remember having we had like a tech happen in like the 4th or 5th game of the season, and I kind of did that. And ever since then, I think I had been on the court every single time a tech happened, and I literally just walked over there and just shot him.
Yeah,
he never said anything.
We know it's the best. You know, it's the best free throw shooter, so you just let him go.
And in a weird way, there's a little coaching to that too. I mean, if you don't say anything, the most confident guy is the guy that's going to step up and take the shot, right? Whereas if you say, okay, you're taking this shot, puts a little added pressure on him. There's a little something there. So, Mo knowing he's the guy and stepping up and taking the shot with confidence is definitely part of it.
You're seeing the Utah Valley people jump around here, but they're trying to figure out, they're trying to explain to Mark Madsen, the head coach, this is exactly what happened. And it was, 6 guys on the court, right?
Yeah, I never had that happen before in my college career where a dude, we've been playing, I think everybody has at least been playing basketball at a high level for at least 2 years, 3 years. I never seen anybody just run on the court without being subbed in. I've literally never seen that.
We're glad you got a veteran crew. Tom's been doing a lot of games for a lot of years, and he just, he's not going to back away from something like that. So that was great. That was huge for us.
So now, the opportunity here for a 5-point play.
And dudes have been in the game. Yeah, dudes have been in the game, got a whole minute and 40 seconds because something crazy just happened to rest.
That's a great point. And sometimes we never think about that.
Yeah, those are like timeouts, because I know if that happened, we were all over there by the bench. You can't go off the floor, but you can go right in front of the bench and talk. So basically a timeout, but another timeout to use.
We're into the time now where baskets are few and free throws are coming. And if you look at, I'm looking ahead here. There's only 3 more baskets from here on out, but there will be 11 points scored here. So this game was decided by makes at the free throw line, but certainly misses at the free throw line as well. Plus stops by you guys, and we'll get into this a little bit as we continue to go on here.
I know TB had been struggling with, I think he fell on his wrist like a week before, and that's why you see it taped up, kind of grimacing in pain every now and then.
Yeah, he actually went to the bench. They retaped it. He missed 3 free throws in a row in a stretch.
Yeah. And then a horrible call right here. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that's bad.
That was a questionable. That was interesting.
But we probably got a horrible one coming for us, too.
Yeah. But, again, with 2:45 to go, I love your line, Alex. It's chess, not checkers. And that's what it's turned into here when it's a one-possession game. It's really a chess match.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got to recognize both teams are in the bonus. And so, there's no reason to overcomplicate things or take, quick shots. I think our guys and their guys, to their credit, did a good job of spacing the court and getting to the foul line. And that's definitely the emphasis in a, time and score is a big part of the game. And recognizing the situation and getting to the foul line is huge.
Morgan and TT, this is why you play college basketball, isn't it? I mean, you played it because you enjoy the game, but this is where you're trying to win a game. And if you make the plays, you're going to win, and if you don't, you lose.
Yeah.
And as seniors, you know that those plays are going to be made by you. It's just you and it's just you, yeah. So you got to take responsibility, be on the court, and do the right thing.
Okay, an inbounds play. We got a dunk coming here. Talk about this. What you guys are seeing.
Play. I think this is the fake dribble handoff, right?
Yeah, I've been messing up on this the whole game. Yeah. Usually, I'm supposed to do that action right there where I wrap around,
fake
and I just
handoff
been
right to the rim.
Lazy and not doing it. And I know right when we come into the Coach Hafer right there is telling me right now. I know for a fact that's why you wrap them every time. And I was like, yeah, my fault. I hadn't been doing it.
It's amazing you guys can remember a specific play from a game.
Yeah.
Well, that one, we've been talking about that action on baseline out of bounds. We run some simple sets on baseline OBs, but they have a lot of different options. And we saw on film that they cheat that action. And so, Riley did a great job of recognizing it and selling the it's almost like a football play where you're selling the handoff. He faked it, he sold it, and he got right to the rim. So that was a big play.
Is that basket because of film work then, Alex?
It's not, our goal as coaches with film is just to help guys instinctually be able to make good decisions on the court. So, the basket is because Riley made a great decision, but we hope that the film puts them in a good position to recognize things that are happening on the court.
Okay, we got Mattia's last foul in the game coming up.
Coming. Oh, they're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, loose ball.
Yeah. Oh my God! Look at my face.
Yeah. Now, because you fouled out, I hope you're not leaving the game. The broadcaster, you're sticking with us, right?
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah, those hurt.
What are you saying, Morgan? What are you?
I don't know. I don't remember exactly what I say, but I know I talk to the refs a lot. I try to be nice to them. That way they're nice to me.
Yeah, if for the whole game, I couldn't sit back down the bench, so I just stood out with Cam and sat down at the end of the bench the whole rest of the game.
You're supposed to sit down, though, aren't you?
No, I don't know. Just
yeah, you are, but if it's just one person, they usually don't say anything.
This is and Jim's upset, and I think it, obviously, but you get a break here because they missed both free throws.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, good foul, TG.
Thank you. This left it, yeah.
Yeah.
This is Overton. He did not have a good day at the line. He was 2 of 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hit the same spot twice.
Yeah.
And this is where it just comes down to execution, spacing.
you see something, tell us what's going on.
Yeah, we're just running.
Go ahead, Mo.
Go ahead, Brip.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, you're exactly right. It just comes down to spacing. Like, we set those ball screens to get the matchup, and then our guys did a great job. They recognized that Jardine, a slower-footed big man, was guarding Terrell, got the ball right back to him, and he was able to use his quickness. So, those situations aren't about, like Morgan said, designing something brand new or being overly complicated. It's about matchups and spacing. And so, put the ball back in Terrell's hands, went at Jardine, and got to the foul line.
Morgan, as a guy who's hit some key free throws in his career, when you get to the line with this late in the game, are you just trying to do the same thing you've done with 2 minutes into the game as opposed to with 2 minutes left in the game?
I think so. Speaking for myself, I know when I get the ball, that's what my breaths are for, just to put me back in the same mood I'm always in when I shoot free throws. I take my dribbles, I do my routine, and it's the same thing. I try not to switch anything up, so it's the same result, whether it be the first shot of the game or the last.
All right, we got a tie game now, and not for long.
Dang. Yeah.
So now we have a 2-point game, and again, it's just trying to execute a play.
Mm-hmm. You try to find the right matchup, especially with TB and Mo. The right matchup and go, oh my God.
Yeah, it was a big play.
Damn.
Big block.
Yeah, it was huge. But he's out of bounds.
Yeah.
Big turnover.
Yeah. Well, that's the cardinal sin of a 3-point shooter, is to catch the ball out of bounds, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, he had a crazy possession right there. Oh, it was like a lob. It wasn't a real block. They better not gave him a block.
Actually, you got another possession. And Morgan, what are you trying to do here?
I'm just being aggressive, using my strength, which is my height right there, get to a spot. Early on in my career, I would have just put my head down and got offensive foul probably, trying to get to that spot. It's not always about being the fastest, getting there the fastest. Just take my time, get to my spot, and shoot my shot.
All right, so now you've got 53.8 seconds to go in a tie game. They're going to get a possession. You're probably going to get a possession. So let's just talk about this as see, and just talk about what you guys see.
All right. Aaron did a really good job taking away the pass back to 11, so they had to go their secondary action. Miles does a great job protecting the rim.
Close out.
We know it's a late shot clock. Loose ball. They get it.
And now we need one more stop now. Like we didn't get the rebound.
Yeah.
We need one more stop.
And I'm upset at myself because Miles blocked the shot to me and I should have got the rebound. But yeah, after this timeout, see, I just flipped the switch right there. You got it on the next play.
Yeah, one stop.
Which is you can't worry about what just happened, because you got an opportunity here that you need to take advantage of just to get another stop, and you send it in overtime, or maybe you get an opportunity to win the game in regulation.
Correct.
Yeah,
that's all we're thinking about right there.
Yeah, and as coaches, there's a lot of, you're kind of running through all the different options. So, we talked about the guys keeping track of the stats. Pat Mulligan definitely tracking the timeouts and the fouls. We're going through all those things to make sure we're on the same page. And then it's really about what action are they going to run? What's the difference between the shot clock and the game clock right now? So I think there's about a 4-second differential. And so, if we can dig in and get one stop right here, you talk to the guys about, getting a good look, trying to get all the way to the rim if they have time, things like that. So you're not overcomplicating it. You're not drawing up crazy sets or different defensive coverages. You're just talking about what to expect, them in terms of what they're running, what our coverage is, and then, trying to get a good look before regulation, before time runs out.
Alex, are you one of those coaches that talks when we get the stop, not if we get the stop? Do you address it that way and then say you've got time to get a shot?
Yeah, whenever possible. Sometimes the language doesn't line up like that, but I always remember people saying that, it's really important for the players to look at the coaches and feel confidence. So if you're talking a million miles an hour and you seem unsure, the players are going to be unsure. But if you're confident and you say, here's how we're going to guard the action, this is what we're going to do to get a stop, I think the players feed off that. So we try to whenever possible.
Do you guys know what's coming? Do you feel that you know the play they're going to run?
No, I don't think so. But we know whose hand the ball was. Yeah, we knew exactly who was going to have the ball in their hand.
We know what we're going to do if something happens. Like if this high pick and roll happens, we're going to do yellow defense. Yeah. If something else happens, we're going to do that.
Yeah, it's more about ball screen coverage than anything else.
When they missed the shot, get another rebound, and it was not really a great shot, but they got a couple of looks at it. All right.
Yeah.
Now we're going to overtime. Deep breath. Where are you?
Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead, TT.
Yeah.
You're not even. Not in the game anymore.
I think.
Yeah, I think. It's deep breath. You do the same thing you do at halftime. It's like a whole nother half. For me, at least, that's how I look at it. A whole nother game to be won because it's 0-0. So all the stuff that happened before is null and void. You're just trying to win these next 5 minutes. So I think you're optimistic as a team. You can't be looking backwards. You can only look at what's about to happen, and you just got to win these next 5 minutes.
As a player, they had the last opportunity to win the game. In fact, they had a couple of opportunities to win the game. Do you feel better because you stopped them as opposed to missing? I mean, if you were in their shoes, is there a little bit of momentum switching back to the team that makes the stop at the end?
I never really looked at it like that, to be honest. I know I would have much rather had the ball. Just so we had the opportunity to win. But getting that stop is great. But I don't think it really – like I said, it's a new ball game, really. Overtime is – nothing really matters about what happened before. It's about
here's the other thing in this scenario. There's another issue going on, and that's you guys had a tight flight here. And there was going to be a scramble to get to the airport. Alex is laughing, but it's I mean – there's a coach on there's a coach on your bench that's a little concerned. He's not only looking at the clock on the game, he's looking at the clock on his watch. I mean, did you guys know that?
I don't know. Chichi, do we know that?
Like we didn't have the early flight. We had the late flight, so I think it was
the coaches, right?
It was the coaches.
I don't think
we
were
the ones
really
that were concerned. Yeah, and once it went to overtime, we felt like, all right, we're missing our flight. It just is what it is.
Like we don't care, just win the game.
But believe it or not, we jumped off the van while it was still moving and sprinted our way through the airport and made our flight after this.
Yeah, that's a great story for the ages.
What just
that was
happened?
interesting. They threw the ball up, and one of the officials got caught up, and then I think that they are giving a turnover or something, right? No, maybe they're going to
re-jump it. Yeah,
they redo it. No,
same thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Except the ref didn't fall this time.
Yeah, he didn't fall. Alex, talk us through the first possession of an overtime. What are you trying to do? Are you just trying to get points?
Yeah, well, this situation is a little unique because there's still the implications of being in the bonus and the timeout scenario and all those things. So for us, we're trying to do what was working, which is space the court out, get a switch off the ball screen, and then drive that switch, get to the rim. But unfortunately, had a little breakdown. They played some good defense, and Riley had a little turnover right there.
All right, Morgan and TT, when your first possession of overtime defensively, what's going through your head? Are you counting possessions now?
I'm still not counting possessions, but I'm just trying to set the tone. I don't know if everybody looks at it like this, but I look at overtime as a whole new game, 0-0. So it's a whole new game to be won. So you got to set the tone just like you do in the beginning of a real game.
Yeah, I always think about getting stops. We always say to each other, okay, if we get stops, we're going to win the game. Like, it starts from defense. So I always worry about that.
Yeah, this was actually kind of a unique situation because Utah Valley runs a lot of continuity ball screen. That's their base offense. And we actually started running that action back at them early in overtime. So we were just trying to get the ball reversed multiple times, and it didn't work out in our favor on that first possession right there. But just a lot of ball screens, a lot of ball movement. And, our guys were really confident in this game. We felt like we were the better team. And sometimes when you're on the road in overtime, it doesn't feel that way. But I think our guys still had a lot of confidence at this point in time.
Yeah.
They're going to get the first basket of the overtime. Does that do anything for a team?
No, it's still a long game, especially with 20 minutes left. So
Yeah.
That's where that experience from the UMKC game earlier in the year comes into play. Our guys have been through that before. This wasn't the first time for them.
Now, the great thing about what you guys did is they score the first points of overtime. You come right back on the next possession. I think that was really important to get a bucket.
Yeah.
I don't think
Actually, you did. Actually, no. Actually, there was sorry about that.
You got blocked.
They actually made another basket. They had a 4-point lead here.
Yeah.
Apologize for that.
Yeah, I think going back to what Coach Pribble said, experience from the earlier games, the UMKC game for sure. You can't let that. Like, I feel like a young team might. Oh, we go down 4 in overtime, game's over. Like, we know the game's not over. It's still 2:33 left. Now it's a 2-point game. Like,
that was a crazy basket right there.
Oh my God.
At the end of the day, you also need guys that are going to be able to make plays. And Terrell just made a huge play right there to cut it to a 1-possession game.
And again, timeout by Jim Hayford after a missed basket. All right, so you're down 2. We're close to, what do we got, 2.5 minutes to go. Alex, is this just the discussion on the next possession?
Yeah, you get caught up in the possession by possession. So really the talk here is, okay, they just beat us on a ball screen switch. The last possession, Terrell switched onto Jardine and we got beat in the post. So now you're talking about our ball screen defense this possession. So, you got to make sure that we know the action that's coming. They come up and set a good ball screen, and we got to make sure our coverage is right. So, force them into a tough shot, get the rebound, and we're off.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
TT finally sat down on the end of the bench, though. We got a timeout here, I think is what we got. Yeah.
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 Again,
so
all right.
We know that there's no more timeouts. So I think we're doing a good job of that. They're probably looking to see whose ball it is.
Yeah, they're going back to the monitor on this.
Yeah. Okay, so Alex, we just talked about, a moment ago, you're talking about the next possession, which happened to be on the defensive end. So now is it trying to get that basket to tie this game? It's the possession now on the offensive end?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that, we thought the ball was off them, that we were getting the ball back underneath. And so, you're talking about your baseline out of bounds play. We had the success earlier with the fake dribble handoff, but at this point in the game, you're really just talking about whose hands you want to put the ball in and what spacing you want on the court. And then, again, building on the defensive end, that last play down the court, we did a really good job. Miles did a good job in ball screen defense. And so you just got to make sure that you continue to defend with the right coverages.
Do you see a football coach has a play they want to use for a 2-point conversion late? Is there a favorite play that a coach has, depending on what the scouting tells him, that he wants to run in a situation like this, or maybe with less than time in a game?
Yeah, definitely. There's absolutely plays or options from certain plays that you'll go to that you feel the most confident in, just like a football coach, for a 2-point conversion. In this scenario, there's still enough time on the clock where you don't necessarily need to go to those. But, they call them after timeouts or out of timeouts. There's definitely opportunities to throw something new and try to pick up a quick basket.
Yeah, it's another inbounds play. Walk us through this, Morgan.
Yeah.
Just one.
I think we went back to the same action.
Yeah.
Nothing too complicated. And got a great look. Big time bucket.
Big time, yeah.
So
Again, just
twice
going back to matchups. We liked the matchup.
Yeah. Twice Riley gets the basket. Now we're tied at 83. And this
we knew
Mark.
Jardine had 4 fouls, so he's probably not going to be too aggressive to try and stop him. And right there, he just picks up his fifth. And now he's gone. They got to make this up.
Yeah.
Talked about Nettles drawing those offensive fouls. I mean, that's a huge play. We switched the ball screen, and he does a good job getting into his body. And you know,
Look at that flop. Look at that flop.
Hey, we'll take it.
Love it.
So
Back and
133 to go here. 83 all. We're going to get a turnover here, and then they're going to miss a bucket. So jump in here, talk us through this, guys.
Yeah, I remember the action. We tried to get the ball back to Riley with the mismatch, but they ended up just switching off the ball.
Yeah.
So,
and then they scored. Oh, no.
no,
It missed.
Oh, they missed.
Yeah.
They fouled Miles.
Oh, yeah. Too big.
On the rebound.
Yeah, we got pretty lucky on that. I mean, like Morgan said, we were really intentionally trying to get the ball into Riley with a good matchup, but they switched off the ball and put their best defender on Riley, led to a turnover, and then we got fortunate they missed that layup and we got the fouls. And then big fella steps up here and knocks a couple down, I think.
Yeah.
I think he makes both.
Yeah.
He does do that.
I'm standing up, by the way.
I was standing up at this point in time doing the game. Everybody was standing up. What?
Look at TT. You were sitting down.
Honestly, no, yeah.
Alex,
You're not even in a real chair.
Talk about putting nobody on the free throw line here.
Yeah.
Other than Miles shooting them.
I think we just want to get our defense set. You don't want to risk the opportunity to pick up an offensive foul in those scenarios. So just get everybody back, trust your big guy, and get your defense set.
They're gonna go try 2 for 1 here. They miss it, but they get the offensive rebound. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, rebound.
Yeah, so this is an interesting scenario. I mean, obviously you're going to try to run it down and use as much of the clock as possible. But, you also don't want to pass up on a great shot because if you can force it to a 2-possession game, the game's over. So, we run it down. We get good spacing on the court for our ball screen action, and that's that go screen I was talking about.
Yeah, I tried to get the same look, and I just short-armed it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Shorter
Did you
guard
think
on
it was in when you let it go, Morgan?
No, I could tell. I short-armed it. Tried to aim it instead of shoot it. I kind of put myself in a bad position. My favorite shot right there is usually off the glass, and I took myself away from it. So I knew I missed it. That's why I tried to go after the rebound. It was off of me. I remember I was telling everybody on our team that it was off of me because they went back and reviewed it again.
Yeah.
Now it's just about getting that stop that we didn't get, but that's all we're thinking about right now.
All right. 2-point lead. I'm going to let you guys take it the rest of the way here.
Yeah,
we played great defense right here.
Yeah.
Put him under the basket. And he did a really good job of keeping himself alive and hitting that shot. That was a tough shot. And then right here, I'm just thinking we're in the bonus to get fouled. Nobody stopped me, so I'm just going to go at the rim. And luckily the best shot blocker in the conference didn't get a piece of it.
Maury, did you know how much time was left, or were you just trying to take it and get the points right away?
I was trying to go a little bit faster. That's why I stumbled with the ball in the beginning. But I knew exactly how much time was on the clock. Right when I was dribbling down the court, I was looking at the clock. It's right above the basket, so it's not hard to see. And I just tried to get us a quick shot. I usually try to get a shot in those situations to where if I miss, we have at least the opportunity to get a rebound.
Yeah.
But not give them too much time. So it's a fine area. I think, I don't think it definitely turned out better than planned. So.
Did you want the ball in your hands because the possession before you missed it?
I don't think so. I knew I could get a good shot. I knew the whole game that the two guards on their team, they're really good and they're good defenders, but at the end of the day, I'd be fine with shooting over one of them because I think both of them are about 5'10", 5'11", maybe 5'9" to 5'11". So worst case scenario, I could just jump it and shoot the ball over them. So I knew that was one of the opportunities, and I always had that in the back of my mind.
What's the fear here, Alex, as a coach?
You got to keep the ball in front of you. That's the big thing. So, you make sure you don't have to deny anywhere. You just keep the ball in front of you, and if you can get a tip or a deflection, the game's over. So
that was a steal to end the game. And all right, guys, when you win a game like that? I know that there's a feeling of victory and euphoria, but when you win a game like that, how do you feel?
Especially on the road, it feels so good. We call it tough dub. And Coach Nick used to call it tough dub. We're so happy, especially in the locker room and that night.
A real win, man. I don't know if there's many better feelings in basketball. Not for me, at least.
Yeah,
going into another place and you getting a dub and sucking the life out of there. Like, everybody's quiet when you're leaving. Nobody's smiling. And you're the only people you came with a group of 20 and you're the only ones in there having fun. And it's not that many better feelings for me, at least.
Alex, what's a coach feel like?
Well, usually it's just elation. You get back to the locker room and you want to celebrate and you want to feel good. But this one was unique because we were sprinting back to the locker room to grab our bags and get to the airport. We just about as close as you can get to missing our flight on this one. So this was a bit of a unique celebration.
How was the feeling on the plane?
I don't know if we were more happy about the win or making the flight. I mean, we were literally holding the security gate open as people were going, but no, it was great. It was just, you're so happy. You're so proud of the guys. And for us, this was a big momentum builder. I mean, I felt like we were starting to click. We were starting to come together, and, big win on the road for sure.
I remember after the handshakes, TT came up to me, and this is our first time winning in Orem. So TT was like, "Hey, we got one." Because before the season, TT and I were talking about all the places we wanted to win and our legacy that we left. So TT came up to me and he's like, "Thank you, Mo. Thank you, Mo." I remember I was like, "Yeah, man, we had to."
Hey, you guys are still in school. You're still working towards your degree. How is this online stuff going for you?
I'm in a lot of these Zoom meetings, man.
A lot of Zooms.
But it's going well. I can't complain.
Yeah, way less fun than this, though.
Yeah, this was the best Zoom meeting I've had so far. So thank you.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. Morgan Means and Mattia DeCampo, both of you guys are planning on playing professionally, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
TT, can you tell us what your plans are right now? Do you know?
I don't know which team yet because I don't know yet, but I will play at home, either in the first league or the second league. Okay.
Morgan, yeah. What's going on with you?
Yeah, I don't know where I'll be or where I'll be playing, but I'm just getting my I just signed with the agent, so I'm getting all my information out there to teams and putting out videos and stuff like that, and hopefully by the time everything's safe to be traveling around and stuff, I'll have the right fit and start my career up there, wherever it may be.
Very, very cool. Had an enjoyable time doing your guys' games the last 2 years. Alex, how are the coaches dealing with what is going on now as you transition into another year?
Yeah, it was a unique time, and you got to adapt. So a lot of these Zoom meetings for recruiting and for scheduling and for, just as a coaching staff, everybody getting on the same page. But, the biggest thing we can control right now is helping our guys make sure their academics are right and they're doing a good job in the classroom during the spring. So guys are finishing up strong with that. We're really excited about some of the recruits we're bringing in for next year, and it should be a bright future. So just a lot of time on these Zoom meetings, a lot of these calls, and just doing what we can to prepare for next year.
Alex, thanks for joining us. Good luck on the upcoming season with you and the coaching staff and the team. And Morgan and Mattia, I know there's a lot of Seattle U fans that are very thrilled that they got to watch you guys play for the last 4 years. Continued success. Congratulations on your upcoming graduation, and we certainly hope that basketball is a long time in your future, and we really appreciate you guys joining us today.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed the game. Seattle University, Utah Valley, from the players' perspective, from the coach's perspective. And thanks so much for being with us.